Welcome back to Gotland. In the morning of our second day in Visby, we were observing some action going on in the marina while we were having our breakfast in the cockpit. There were divers in the water and rescue team on the shore assisting them. It was clear that they were looking for something. I was afraid that someone had fallen into the water during the night and now they are looking for the dead body. Fortunately, it wasn't so. A little bit later, I passed them and asked one nice police lady, and she explained that it was only a training. Our plan for the day was to discover some more of this nice island called Gotland. Our boat is small and we don't carry our own bikes, so we headed to the main bike rental of Visby. And although there were many tourists, there were even more bikes waiting for them. Soon we were sitting on nice Swedish 7-speed bikes, making our way north. At the beginning, our trail followed the coastline and the ancient wall of the castle of Visby on another side. Our first goal of the day was to visit the Lummelunda Caves, which are located on the western coast of Gotland, about 15 kilometers north of Visby. There were some steep uphills and nice downhills on the way, and it took us a little more than 1.5 hours to reach the Lummelunda Caves. At the cave entrance, we joined an English-speaking group with a tour guide. The cave system is 4.5 kilometers long, and it was discovered by 3 teenage boys in 1948. They kept the secret for many years, and all this time they were exploring and examining the caves by themselves. And keep it in mind, they didn't have any proper equipment, although they used some inflatable boat and torches, but it was still 1948, 1950s, so you can imagine. After having spent more than an hour under the ground, and by the way seeing only a fracture of the caves, it was nice to enjoy the daylight again. And even more so together with a cup of coffee and a nice piece of cake in a local cafe. After relaxing a bit, we continued cycling north to discover the next natural treasure Gotland had to offer us. We were heading towards Hamn, which is another 15 kilometers from Lummelunda. On our way, we made some stops in the small shops where they sell all kind of souvenirs, and also an art exhibition where we admire the works of local artists.
This is the Jungfrun Rauk, a limestone monster standing high up on the limestone shore. There is the small guest harbor of Hamn. Our boat is not here, we came on the bicycles.
We spent some more time in Hamn Nature Reserve, taking on a hiking trail in the forest, which led us to a nice high shore where we decided it's a nice place to take a picnic.
Spider webs.
It was already late afternoon, and as we were more than 30 kilometers away from our boat, we had to step on our bikes and start pedaling again. I found out there's one thing common for sailors and cyclists. The wind is most of the time against us. Keeping that in mind, I chose inland route this time to avoid the seashore. Our route led us by the old church of Stenkyrka. Although it was late, the doors were open and we couldn't resist and stepped in.
This is the church of Stenkyrka. Let's check it out. I think it translates stone church. Looks like local material limestone. It's amazing.
After a few hours' ride against the wind, we finally made it to Visby. We didn't feel like cooking on the boat anymore, so we found a nice pizzeria that served us well. The pizzas were delicious. Back on the boat, after some extremely necessary procedures, it was time to call it a day. Our second day in Gotland was over. The beautiful morning of day 3 in Gotland greeted us with pancakes. As a matter of fact, it was my wife who greeted us with these. We enjoyed our morning coffee and breakfast and the company of some small ducks swimming around in the marina. We had just finished our breakfast when we saw a big, beautiful ketch-rigged sailboat heading into the marina. And surprisingly, she was wearing Estonian flag. This vessel was Admiral Bellingshausen. We all knew this boat from the TV series where they visited Antarctica, repeating the famous admiral's journey. When they spotted our Estonian flag, we received a greeting wave from the man in the bow. It was impressive to see this 24-meter-long sailing vessel maneuvering into the furthermost end of the marina with such a grace and ease. We were happy to receive an invitation to visit their boat, that we thankfully did the next day before they left. Here are some photos to keep the memory. Our plan for day 3 in Gotland was to explore Visby and visit some concerts of the medieval week. But we still had our rental bikes, which were rented for 24 hours, so a few more hours were left, and so we decided to take a quick ride in the countryside south of Visby. What a beautiful nature. Back in the town, we found our way to the medieval marketplace. It was a really strange experience, like we had stepped back many centuries in time. And to be honest, we felt quite bad in our modern clothes, so we decided to find something more appropriate to wear. Back on the boat, we put on our freshly bought more or less medieval clothes and we were ready to enjoy some concerts. day 4 in Gotland began with a visit to Admiral Bellingshausen. Some photos I've already shown you before. Our main event of the day was going to be the reincarnation of the Battle of Visby at the town wall. But before attending it, we had some spare time to check out some ancient ruins and buildings of Visby. Soon it was time to move on to watch the performance of the Battle of Visby. It was a huge show, carried out by volunteers from all over the world, and based on the true history of the island of Gotland. Unfortunately, we could only attend the show where the storytelling was in Swedish, so we did not understand so much, but we got the general point of the battle. After the bloody Battle of Visby, it was time to return to the peaceful and easy living of the medieval life. We visited the marketplace again, and after that found ourselves a nice cozy place to enjoy some cool drinks and spontaneous shows of medieval music and dancing. I do not consider myself to be a religious person, but when there is a chance to step into an old church in a foreign country, I always do. These buildings are just so impressive. And so we found our way into the Cathedral of Visby. After spending so much time in the gods' territory, it was nice to return to the sinners' world in the evening. On the way to the marina, we heard some nice rhythm and blues, live music, so we attended the venue called Visby Prison. A 4-man group performed there, and they were very professional musicians and sound was very good. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of the band. Day 5 was going to be our final day in Visby. We were planning to leave early next morning. We spent a good part of the day in the Museum of Gotland. Gotland is known for its unique picture stones. They date back from the 5th to 12th century and represent people's lives and history of the time. After visiting the museum, we had a nice dinner in a good restaurant, and then we just spent our evening in the port. We enjoyed the view of the Polish schooner coming in, and then we just sat in the cockpit and played some cards. The weather during our stay in Visby had been very nice, so the squalls, thunder and lightning during the night before our departure was kind of a surprise. This is the end of the episode. I hope it wasn't too boring. In the next episode we will leave Visby, but we will stay in Gotland and discover one more island. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Until next time.